The horses reading for Alonda. This is a journal category. I'm going to use this two different deck for you. There's some extra card for you here, according to your spiritual guardians. The past position, mystical messages, follow the sign. You're getting spiritual signs. That's what I'm getting here. But however, you don't think they are particular meaningful to you. Perhaps you just see it as another physical perspective of life. So therefore, you miss a lot of them. But why do I feel like some of them ignore you? A few. That's what I'm getting at. Like, why is this like reoccurring? Why you keep seeing it? Or why do you keep sensing it? You find that ignoring, but not realizing, hey, it's from the universe trying to send you some spiritual sign to nudge you to a specific directions. So I hope that you shouldn't let your negative feelings get in the way of deciphering what they mean, because those are messages from above, from divine, and they are important for you. Why? Because that is the light path you're supposed to take, Alonda. But let me move on to the present positions. Divine creativity, receiving cosmic intelligence. You are supposed to connect to your higher self. How far have you been doing that? Connecting to your soul? Are you still stuck in your physical life perspective and forget that you have your mind, heart, and soul that need integrating? You cannot just live from the physical perspective of light and forget that you are a spiritual being. And that's what your soul is, made up of energy. How can you ignore this spiritual side of you? This card is trying to tell you, to nudge you, yeah, you need to dive deeper within your own self to find out, Alonda, what have you been missing all this time? What is that your higher purpose in this lifetime as well? But have you figured out that yet? But I'm seeing a lot of butterfly. You're supposed to do self transformations within your own self, not the one from the outside, but the one from the inside. How far have you been doing that? Are you doing it in the proper way, or you're stuck in negativity, encouraging more of the same negativity all this time to create this old pattern for yourself? How many negative emotions are you practicing as of today? That's kind of give you an indication that, hey, Alonda, why are you still practicing negative emotion when you're supposed to go within and release that and do proper self transformation so you can become the spiritual being again? And that's how you're supposed to connect with your soul, your higher self, and that's also your higher purpose, to heal, to realign back to this light, this universal love frequency. And that's what all these butterflies are really mean, this self transformation within you. In this rainbow colors, it's all this aura. What are you vibrating all this time? Are you vibrating with negativity, negative feelings? Why I'm picking up sadness? Why I'm picking up sorrow? Why you are still grieving for particular individuals, the loved ones that you lost, even friends that you lost? Yeah, that's what I'm picking up from you, Alonda. You haven't really understand your life purpose. Yeah, you're gonna have people that you cares about no matter what, right? Doesn't matter how you lose them, okay? Where some tragic event happened to them, or they didn't die naturally, perhaps. Maybe some accident, maybe some illness that caused you this sadness, caused you this sorrow. But however, have you cherished those moments that you have with them? Are you still carrying some regret that you wish you had done something better? Perhaps this is the time for you to do some proper self-reflection on that. I feel like the high purpose to see that you are still burdening yourself with all this negative emotion instead of releasing them, instead of carrying this regret or something or missing them in some way. Why not just cherish those good moments that you have? Why not understanding that, oh, this is a destiny that I have with those individuals, regardless of what we've been through, I'm going to cherish those in the past moment and still continue to learn to love myself in an unconditional way. So I hope you see that how you can better love yourself through letting go of all those sadness and sorrow. You can love yourself no matter what, but I hope that you're not relying on your outside to love yourself. If you keep doing that, you will never able to release those negativities. Okay, I hope you hear this higher calling, what you need to do now and the futures. Sacred sexuality, accessing the unified field. Let me go to the guide for this particular unknown positions here. So do it when you're actually having emotional triggers, not wait, don't move on, don't sit on it, don't use feel good activity to defer that, okay? That's what I'm hearing from your spiritual guardians to advise you. Don't just move on, don't just divert it. When you're having negative emotional trigger, dive within and release it. Use compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love to open your heart and soul. That's how you should be releasing them, okay? And also learn to deconditioning when you're conditioning your life through whatever false belief, whatever norm, standard, that it's time to let them go, unconditionally. It's about not applying anything to restrict anyway, to put yourself in a limited perspective, a limited framework to get you stuck in the reactions of Pacific light events. That's how you unable to expand your heart and soul to realign yourself to the universal love frequency. Let me move on. Is there any more on this? We're actually channeling? Yeah, that is the unknown card. I haven't even read the guidebook yet. It just require me to channel this for you. That's the part of it. Any more to say about the sacred sexuality? Okay, it want me to the guidance part of this. Okay, I'm using the emotional oracle deck for you. Ambivalence is the inner tug of war between different choices, leaving you torn when making decisions. When you feel ambivalence, it reminds you to face your inner needs. Finding balance will allow you to make the choice that align with your true self. But I feel like the feelings. I feel like you still need to learn to discern, are those negative feelings, are those positive feelings? Are those feelings that you still need to let go? But before you can let go, you understand where the source of those feelings are coming from. I think they're rooted from your childhood. I feel like they're rooted from the observation that you have. Perhaps somebody interacting you observe, giving you this impressions, forming some sort of feelings toward those people that interactings, give you some false ideas about how people are supposed to be like. If that's the case, Alonda, this is time for you to let go those false ideas that are not serving your greatest good. So you don't have to be having all those inner conflict in a negative way, okay? But it's up to you to dive deeper to do all those self-reflection and how they are tying back to your childhood learning. Anger is an unmet need or a boundary that has been crossed. It reminds you to set healthy boundary to protect yourself when facing anger. Learn to be calm and reflective, discovering growth opportunities within. No negative emotions are permanent. It is up to your own free will to say, hey, I don't need to be angry. I don't need to resent. I don't need to dislike. I'm using couples vocabulary that can translate into anger, because anger can comes in different form, and the more you practice them, the more you build up the anger and is waiting for some situation or specific individual to cause you this explosive anger. So I hope that you realize, I mean, it's worth going back to do all those self-reflection. Perhaps you join boundary in the wrong way. Boundaries should healthy boundaries should come from love. It shouldn't come from fear. It shouldn't come from hate. If you're mixing fear and hate with love, that is not really love. Love shouldn't have any negative emotions. So to practice love that can bring you harmony and peace, you have to realize that those negative emotions are not serving your greatest good. Learn to have compassion, learn to have forgiveness, so that way you can start releasing variations of anger that you're holding on to. Perhaps specific situation, perhaps specific individual that caused you this anger thing being built up and not realizing it. Abundant is the perception of all the resources in life, knowing that you have all the power and support you need. When abundance appears, it reminds you that the universe always responds to your need in various ways. Abundance is not just talking about material abundance. Abundance could be people are supporting you in the community. Are you taking advantage of that? Especially those are triggering you in a negative way. It is meant for you to realize you're still holding on to those negativity. It is time to release them. But that's the only way to confirm, hey, are you still practicing those negativities, right? If you can see them in the light perspective instead of in a dark perspective, then you can take advantage of this community to help you, to heal. And therapy can only help you do so much, but healing, it's really self effort. I hope that you're not relying on therapy to help yourself to do that, because you're letting go your free will, because what kind of emotion to practice is really your personal choice. But you just have to learn to discern what they are and take advantage of it when you're having emotional triggers. This is your last card for your guidance. Wisdom is profound understanding and insight, allowing you to see the essence of things. When wisdom enters your life, it reminds you to listen to your inner voice and find your own truth. Are you facing your own darkness? Are you speaking the truth about you? What happened to Alonda since the day she was born in this lifetime? How have you identified the source of your problem yet through your childhood, to see how that has been linger on, how that source of problem, so-called emotional baggages? I'm using Pearl for some reason. You have multiple emotional baggages since childhood that has been transformed in a negative way, that has been accumulated in a negative way to cause you to react, continue to react in a negative way. So if you can identify that truth and face that truth and get a more deeper understanding the cause and the effect, that's going to give you more insight of what you need to do to heal, what you need to do to release them. Okay, like I said, compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love. Whenever you're lost, use that type of light energy to help you to find yourself home, so you don't get stuck in the darkness. You don't have to get stuck by your own judgment, because based on what you learned in your past experiences. And this is the end of your reading, and I hope this is helping you, and may you find light from your spiritual guardians. This is a horses readings between Bridget and Bob. Got to use the modern witch tell here. Past position, King of Sword. Two, widget. too fixated. That's the feeling about between you and him when you guys were together recently, I guess. I'm not sure how far that is. So there's hard to compromise, and at the same time hard to accept the uniqueness that the individual is having. But when I say uniqueness, still there is an issue that is coming from the dark side of it. So is it really unique, or just the darkness that you guys are still encouraging each other's? So I feel like you both still lacking that discernment to realize, oh, it's my darkness and your darkness. We both need to work on ourselves to, to face it, to release it, so that way you both can learn what unconditional love is about. But instead, you guys are so fixated on your own self, the way how you want to approach it, the way how you want to feel about that. That is a way strong, determined vibe here. Like it's not really yelling, and it's not way surrendering either. That's what I'm getting here. So yeah, so you both, I feel like not seeing the higher purpose of why you both are needed to reconcile, at the same time that you need to work on your own self as well. I think that is a culprit. Your spiritual guardian say that is a major culprit why you guys are not having any new breakthrough in this relationship, because you guys are not taking self-healing as one of the major priority when you're interacting together. And I'm not saying when you're apart and then you try to, oh, what I need to work on. And I'm getting that is too late to do that. You guys didn't do it while you're doing the interaction. Instead, you guys wait, oh, when you're falling apart, then you go back and reflect. Yeah, reflection, it's great, but then you miss out the opportunity while having the trigger through the interaction to do something about that right away. So I feel like you guys are missing cycles, opportunity to see the truth about your own self and to do the necessary releasing. So yeah, understanding the higher purpose is so critical in this so-called twin flame journey, or if you want to call it the spiritual journey, which is still fine. But let me move on to the present card here, Knight of Swords. Hmm. I feel like you both parties still want to have conversations. Hmm. But to what end? But we're not realizing. I think you both are doing self-reflection. That's why you guys, if we can just talk it out, things will be fine. If we can just talk it out, we can come into a better solution or conclusions of what we need to do moving forward. Like, I feel like it's like together, but what about the individuals? That's what I'm missing here when I'm doing this reading. What about the individuals learning and growing? What about the individual understanding his or her own darkness? That is not a permanent thing, but yet you guys are so hard on holding on to it like, oh, that's just me. Is it really you? Or is it really him? Or you guys just enjoy encouraging darkness in each other? That's a real problem here. not understanding darkness is not a permanent thing. But yet, you guys, when you're having the trigger, why are you guys not releasing it? Why are you guys so sucked into interaction with each other? And you just sit on that, and then things start blowing out of proportion. Where it's like, oh, I need a break. I cannot handle this. It's like a running away from. Yeah, I feel like it's like running away from the emotional trigger that you are having and he is having, and not when to deal with it right there. So that's the reason why you guys are missing opportunity to heal, to see the truth about the darkness. So let me move on to the unknown part of it. The Queen of Swords. Think it's a lot of mind thing. All five card here are mentals. But what about the heart, soul? I feel like that's not integrating. Why is it so much about thinking but not sensing your own feelings? Where's that feelings coming from? How is it tied to the idea of love that you both are having? How is it tied to the false belief that you both are having? Are you aware you both are marrying each other one way and another? Wherever that negativity that you both need to work on releasing, like worry, it's one of them is coming through me. Another one is like fear, partially come from insecurity. And I feel like you guys are still allowing your past relationship to trigger another cycle again, like repeating the past. Not exactly the same situation, but emotionally, yes, it is. That strong fear and insecurity. So it's gonna work out this time, or it's not gonna work out this time. That sense of worry. Instead of focus on my inner self and release that worry, release that fear, release that insecurity. And I feel like you guys are getting stuck on thinking, and behind it is all driven by those negative emotions. And that's what happened to those first two cards, missing those opportunities. Like, even wanting conversation, what is that going to do for you both? Are you still going to get stuck in cycle, or are you going to wake up your own spirit self and say, hey, I'm currently being triggered by Bob, or Bob might say, hey, I'm currently triggered by Bridget. I need to go within and work on releasing that negative feeling first, you know. So I think this desire for conversation need to understand what is the intention right there. Are you really want to continue the same, like the way you guys approach each other, or you really want to do something positive about that within that cycle when you guys are interacting with each others? I think that's important. I feel like you both need to stop thinking about the relationship, stop thinking about each other. What it is, that feeling that you both are being triggered, that is not serving your greatest good, that you still need to release. Have your allow compassion, have your allow unconditional love in the heart yet, or you guys are still allowing those negative emotions to control you guys? I think that is something that you both need to be so honest about this. If you guys are not willing to be honest about that, yeah, it's just repeating this past card here. And then, yeah, design for conversation to what end. That is not helping you guys to learn and grow. So be mindful of that. Same old patterns. Let me move on this. Is this the guidance card? Okay, 2 guidance cards. So one for Bob and one for her. Which one is for her? Which one's for him? Page of Swords. New idea of that is for Bob. He needs to change the way, perhaps too much feminine energy in him. Being passive, wanting to run away, trying to, if things get too hard, he's gonna run. Why is he a runner? And Bridget is chasing him. Too much masculine in Bridget. Too active. You guys are not having balancing masculine and feminine energy within each of you. Yeah, it creating a running and chasing environment. One person is chasing the other is running away from the other person. Do you see how you guys are mirroring each other, like the opposite of that? So one having too much masculine energy, the other having too much feminine energy. And you both need to realize your action, your behavior are translating into all this vibe. He needs to realizing that too. Yeah, that's what this Page of Swords is. He needs to understand that. And I hope you share this reading with him, Bridget. It doesn't hurt to listen to the even past reading that I did for you and him to talk about this. If he like fear gets in the way, he's gonna continue to run and unable to understand the purpose of this chain frame reconciliation. It's about igniting your own unconditional love, but you gotta let go fear. You gotta let go worry. You cannot take an easy way out, not when to face your own darkness, Bob. I hope you're listening, in the future about this, what it is that if this fear is coming from your childhood, do you need to protect yourself? Something about you in your childhood cause you to be so self-protective. Why is that? Ridicule, criticism, not good enough. I feel like those type of things are happening to you. The way how you grew up. Are you aware of that? Yes, I'm picking up. Yes, you do. But you're not connecting back to your own behavior as an adult. Are you aware you have been trapped in those behavioral patterns when you're young, and you continue to use that as an adult to react? And you need to realize that, Bob, otherwise you're going to continue to run and not want to face your own darkness, especially your childhood trauma. Be aware of that. You're the only one who can tell you, oh, I need to stop. I need to go back and reflect when you're triggered by fear, whatever that is. Go back to your childhood. Why do you need to protect yourself, because of all those things that I mentioned earlier? If you keep shutting your heart out, how are you going to expand your heart to love unconditionally? So be mindful of that. You need to open your heart. You need to give yourself more compassion in this to do that. So let me move on this last one here for Bridget. The 9 of Swords here. what it is. This is another form of fear, Bridget. When you're all by yourself, why do I feel like not just fear but tears? I don't know if you're actually crying or your heart is bleeding, like you're crying inside so deep, like you're so tired of it. Why do you feel like you're tired? Sometimes you want to give up. How many more cycle like this? Like you couldn't take it anymore or something like that. Do you feel that kind of negative energy? Do you feel that kind of negative feelings in you whenever things not doing well and cause these separations? But this is more about focusing yourself, Bridget. You thinking about him too much. Doesn't matter how he react. Let him handle his own reaction. But what about your reaction? In that reason, what causing you guys to separate? Are you taking advantage of those negative emotion triggering by your twin flame? You need to work on that. Or are you still stuck like him, the same old behavioral pattern? Do you see how you two are marrying each other for different situations? And it's about shifting your focus from the outside to your inside and work on those releasing. And that's how you're going to help yourself so you can don't feel like so you don't ever have to feel like, oh, I need to give up, I want to give up, I'm so tired. Why do you need to be tired? Why not embrace every moment with him? Cherish every moment with him. Doesn't matter how you judge. If you know you're judging, it's time to release that too. He has his own darkness, you have your own darkness. Take advantage of that and release it, Bridget. But I feel like you know what that is. If you ever go back to the previous reading that I did for you, another horse juice, right? There's so much substantial information in there, the type of inner work that you have to do. This is only a small piece of it here. That's what I'm getting. Is there any more here that Bridget needs to know? Yeah, they both are triggering by fear, but in a different type of situations. Anything else? It is all about expanding your heart with compassion, forgiveness, and help yourself to decondition wherever you both are trying to try to conditioning this relationship with expectation and so forth. The judgment in the past causing to judge again recently using the same type of behavior. You both need to learn to catch it your own self. Nobody can do that for you. Yeah, both of you, my advice is to shift your outer focus toward your inside. The more inner awareness that you both are having on your own self, the better you're able to do this type of inner work to heal. So there is no right way or the wrong way. It's just about learning, right? What it is not working in the past. What is the intention of this new conversation in the future? So I hope that you both can release, stop using so much of the mind to analyze when you're not incorporating your heart, soul, and body to do it. Then you're missing out a lot, especially the emotional side of it. So I hope this two guidance cards going to help you guys. And this is the end of the reading. May you find light from your spiritual guardians.